Before we had letters, we had pictures. Imagine a time long, long ago. Humans needed to share ideas, they needed to remember things. Maybe they wanted to mark a trail, or perhaps they wanted to tell the story of a great hunt. They couldn't just write it down. The alphabet didn't exist yet, so they drew. They painted simple shapes on cave walls. A circle might mean the sun. Wavy lines could represent water. A stick figure with a spear might show a hunter. These weren't letters as we know them. They were symbols, a visual language everyone in the group could understand. This was the very first step toward writing. These early symbols were powerful. They were the beginning of recorded history. They allowed information to travel through time. This was a huge leap for humanity. Before this, stories and knowledge were only passed down by word of mouth. The next big step happened in great ancient civilizations: Egypt, Mesopotamia. They had cities, governments, trade. They needed a better way to keep records. They needed to track grain, count taxes, write down laws. Simple pictures of sheep weren't enough anymore. So, writing began to change. The symbols started to represent things' sounds. This was a revolutionary idea. In ancient Egypt, they developed hieroglyphs. You have probably seen them. Some hieroglyphs were still pictographs, where a picture of a bird meant bird, but others were used phonetically. The picture of a mouth might not mean mouth, but the sound R. This was the birth of true writing systems. Knowledge could be stored in libraries and passed down through generations. The big breakthrough came from a surprising place. We call them the Phoenicians. They were practical people. They sailed all over the known world buying and selling goods. They needed a simple, fast way to keep track of their business. The hundreds of symbols in cuneiform or hieroglyphs were too slow and complicated. They needed something better, something easier to learn and use. So, they created it. What the Phoenicians did was pure genius. They looked at the Egyptian system and saw the power of symbols for sounds. Instead of symbols for whole words or syllables, each symbol stood for a single consonant sound. It had only about 22 symbols. This was a massive simplification. A busy merchant or a sailor could learn it quickly. This new alphabet was a game changer. Literacy was no longer limited to elite scribes. When the seafaring Phoenicians brought their alphabet to Greece, they found a very receptive audience. The Greeks were thinkers, poets, philosophers. Greek had important vowel sounds. Phoenician did not account for them. So the Greeks adapted the alphabet for their language. Aleph became alpha, he became epsilon, E. With vowels added, the Greeks created the first complete alphabet. That allowed them to record achievements in drama, science, philosophy. Homer, Plato, Aristotle could be recorded and preserved perfectly. Greek influence reached Italy. Rome was rising. The Romans borrowed and adapted the alphabet for Latin. They carved monumental capital letters into stone. The letter G was invented. Z was reintroduced. Over time, they perfected the Roman alphabet, the alphabet of English. As legions marched, they carried language and letters. The Roman alphabet took root across Britain, North Africa, Spain, and the Middle East. For many centuries after Rome, writing was still a rare skill. During the Middle Ages, books were precious objects, copied by hand by monks in monasteries. Then in the 15th century, another revolution happened: the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg. Suddenly, knowledge was no longer locked away in monasteries. Printers looked back to the classic Roman forms for inspiration. They developed typefaces that were easy on the eye, making reading a more pleasant experience for a growing audience. The Industrial Revolution brought new technologies for printing. The invention of the typewriter in the 19th century put the power of writing directly into the hands of individuals. Then came the digital age. Computers and smartphones have put a keyboard in almost every pocket. We type letters every single day, in emails, text messages, and social media posts. The alphabet has seamlessly transitioned from stone and clay to pixels on a screen. The basic forms created by the Romans are still with us, instantly recognizable. Today, on August 26, 2025, the alphabet is more important than ever. It is the fundamental building block of global communication. It allows us to share complex ideas, from the first pictures on a cave wall to the screens you hold today. The story of the alphabet is the story of human civilization.